Pesto! Okay. I've seen a couple different ways to do this, and I think mine's the quickest way. I don't know if it's necessarily the best, and it's probably got a lot of germs and bacteria in it. But I just take the basil, I don't wash it, I don't do anything with it. It's growing, I assume that there's some kind of pesticides on it, but for some reason it doesn't bother me yet. Maybe it will in like 30 years. This is just, the most important part of this is one, get the stems off of it, because the stems taste somewhat acidic, and I've noticed people leave the stems in there, and that's not exactly the flavor that you're looking for. So I bought 2 bushels of basil from the Chinese produce, and it's just cheaper. You know, you're gonna end up spending, I don't know, $6, $7, $8 for basil when it's only needs to be $1 at like a, you know, local produce place. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stuff this right in there. This is a good amount. Now, I'm going to use the stuff that just went on the floor too. I'll make sure you eat first and then show you the video so that you know that you ate dirt off the floor. Gotta be dirt. Dirt don't hurt. Alright. This stuff almost doesn't fit in this little container, but I don't care. Alright, so that's in there. The ingredients are what make it so good. Alright, so if you make the same ratios, but you use the wrong ingredients or just low quality, you're going to taste it. In my opinion, nothing tastes better than Kalamata olive oil. I found it at Trader Joe's. It's cheap there. Everywhere else you go, it is extremely expensive. I do not measure this. I think it's probably maybe half a cup around there, but I just gun it in there. And then I add it as needed. I mean, you can tell at the end of it where the consistency is supposed to be. Alright, I'll just leave it right there for now. People toast the pine nuts. I don't. Alright, I just toss them right in there. I have toasted them before and it was like too much. I didn't want the flavor of my pesto to be pine nut. A lot of people don't really like pine nuts. It's actually a little stronger than a toasted pine nut's a little stronger than most people can handle. But I do like to get them in there for texture. Before I had pine nuts, you could use any kind of nut. I used to use Cheerios. I couldn't afford these things because they are expensive. But they used to be really hard to find. But the Cheerios didn't taste so good, and that only lasted once or twice. Romano from Little Italy in Philadelphia. Could be a hard thing to replicate. I mean, this stuff's stinky stuff. Again, I don't know exactly how much I'm putting in there. You know, probably loosely packed, maybe about a quarter of a cup. And I'll just go ahead and grind up a bunch of that. Now, if you go to the store and just grab any old Parmesan or Romano blend, you're not going to be happy with this. Cheese is a big part of it. I like to make all flavors jump. So this is heavy on the strong cheese, heavy on the strong garlic. The Kalamata oil does have a very distinct flavor. If you were to try to use like just a regular extra virgin, it's not gonna taste the way you want it to. I mean, it'll still be good, but not by my standards. All right, just about used all this up. Actually, wish I had a little bit more here. Now that means I gotta make another trip down to Philly. Go get some cheese steaks. Alright, I got a pretty good chunk here. This is going to be a cheesy pesto. And it doesn't come out the same every time, which is fine with me. It's always good. I probably made pesto 300 or 400 times, and it's never exactly the same. I don't want it to be. All right, so this is just a grated Romano. All right. Ground pepper, again, you gotta use the good stuff. This is from a this is an Indian spice ground pepper. And this is a more coarse. I don't really understand the purpose of fine pepper. It seems like a waste. If you want pepper to taste like pepper, it's coarse. If you work at a restaurant and you don't serve coarse pepper, you are not a real restaurant as far as I'm concerned. As if you sold pizza and didn't have oregano, I wouldn't consider you a pizzeria either. So hopefully I'm not rating you on Yelp. This crystallized salt, let it break up a little bit. You go too heavy on the salt, you're gonna ruin everything. All right, salt's one of the strongest flavors out there. Strong things, big things come in small packages. The larger your garlic, the less flavor the garlic has. Somebody that's out there right now saying that's not true, well, I don't care. I'm making up rules and I'm sticking to them. No, really, yeah. Usually a smaller clove is a little more compacted. It does have a denser flavor to it. I have to chop this up even though it's going into this blender here because otherwise I'll be forced to keep the blender on for too long. And if the blender goes for more than 10 or 15 seconds, I got a problem. So we don't want to turn this stuff into soup. We still want to keep those bits and chunks all together. Most people probably use, I use my teeth for everything. What does that mean? Some kind of weird fetish or something, right? I'll use 3 cloves of garlic. I mean, this is going to pack a pretty heavy punch. But people aren't usually eating pesto in mass quantities. If you sit here and spoon feed this stuff to yourself, it's going to be coming out your pores in 10 seconds. You'll start to feel it. So it's assumed that you're using this as a garnish or in addition to or in a pasta or something. Yes, Mom, I know how to use a knife. It's amazing. Knuckles curved in. If I'm ever hanging out with you and I see you hold your fingers like this while you're chopping, I will grab the knife out of your hand and tell you to leave the kitchen, and there will be nothing that you can say to stop me. You shouldn't be in the kitchen. Sorry, none of this. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the background. You're kidding, right? You didn't think I was gonna go through this whole process and not start drinking. Only 10 more bottles to drink all by myself. Almost there. All right. I can tell by looking at it, there's a lot of cheese in there. That color is a little lighter than usual. Have no fear. Olive oil is here. Getting excited. That's all she wrote. Alright, so we say, I've seen people like puree it. It's still good, like it still has its flavor. And if it was mixed into a pasta or something, you probably wouldn't notice the difference. But a lot of the people that I like to give this to like to put it on a chip or something, so they kind of want all those extra little bits and pieces. Alright, we're finished. Let's see which way it went. Ready? Too much salt, too much pepper. Ah, there's the garlic. Alright, it's hitting good. Alright, I'll transfer that. Make sure you put it into something still tight. The tighter it is, the longer it lasts. It's best right now. Tomorrow it's good. The next day it's starting to go. Alright, if it's kept tight, you might get that thing to last for a little while. I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial. Cheers. Scram, go do something else. I gotta get ready to go party or something. Good night.